I'm Monica Mader, and today I'm making a chocolate flourless cake. We'll be using fresh ingredients from the farmer's market. We have our ingredients. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to melt the chocolate, and then I'm going to incorporate some butter. About a half pound of butter, 12 ounces chocolate. Then I'm going to make a soft thread syrup, which is sugar and water, and you bring it up to about 230 to 235 degrees, and you'll know when it's ready by either using a candy thermometer, or the method I typically use is pretty old-fashioned. Take cold water and you drop the sugar into it. I'll show you later, and it just forms a little soft thread. Then it's ready. And I'm also going to make a meringue. So then I take the chocolate butter, I add the soft thread syrup, then I incorporate the meringue. We put it in a springform pan. I'm using a 9-inch, and I'll put that on a sheet pan in a water bath to keep the mixture moist. And then we'll cook that for about 35 minutes. Take it out, let it cool, and we'll plate it up and have a taste. So we begin by cutting the chocolate and melting the chocolate. And I'm going to do about 12 ounces, and I'm going to eyeball it because this is a pounder plus, which means, yeah, that's over 16 ounces. All but those 2 rows. Now, we'll add that. A little extra love. And we just do a coarse chop, and then we throw it in the pot. We're going to put it on a double boiler. Oh, by the way, this is my sister's cutting board she made for me. She's a woodworker in Connecticut. So basically, the finer you chop it, the quicker it melts. And you guys are all hungry and you want chocolate cake. Okay, so next I'm going to get my pot. This is what a double boiler looks like. I've got my lid, I'll put the chocolate in that part, and then I'll put a little bit of water there and it'll steam. And my hands are clean, I did just wash them. Always anal retentive about it. As any chef should be. Although I'm not a chef, definitely a cook with chef skills. That's how I like to say it. Chefs are a whole other animal, folks. Okay. There's definitely something about chocolate melting that is mesmerizing. Because it's not supposed to be so sweet. It's supposed to just be sweet enough and a whole lot of chocolate. It's just like this whole rich, decadent yumminess. And it's gluten-free. So this is done. So I'm going to turn this off. And see, there's no lumps. It's just completely melted and good. I'm not going to lick it. Using a half a pound of butter, and I'm cutting them into like little pads so that they melt faster, like I did with the chocolate. Okay, so this goes in to the chocolate. I'm going to turn that back on. We're going to melt it. Then we add the sugar, and then we fold in meringue. So this is going to be quick because it's like butter. Sorry, I had to say it. Okay. So it's pretty quick. Okay, so we've got Lily's eggs. These are from Santa Monica Farmers Market. I'm going to be using actually 5 whites. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. So this is a pretty traditional way of separating egg yolks from whites. And I always save the yolks because why would you want to waste that? Tell me, really? I don't. Okay. So that's one way. The other way is just take the whole gaudy mess into your hand and filter it out like that. It's a lot faster than whatever you feel comfortable with. You know, if you don't want to feel an egg in your hand, I get it. You know, for me, I don't really care. My hands are going to get messy. Yeah, part of the fun of cooking. I'm going to wash my hands because we don't want to get sick. Alright, so I'm making meringue. Okay, it goes pretty quickly. This is almost ready. This would be considered like a soft peak. This is almost a hard peak. So you can see it kind of flops down. So it's not quite ready. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to add my sugar. I'm going to add about a tablespoon. I'm modifying this recipe, of course. Everything's experimental with me. I typically don't even use recipes, but when I bake, I like to use at least most of a recipe. And of course, all of you are going to want the recipe. One more minute. Okay. So you can kind of get a sense. See how it just stays? So this is called a hard peak meringue. And basically, when you go like that, either with your hand or a spoon or your finger, whatever, beaters, you just know that's it. It's ready. Okay, so we're gonna preheat the oven to 350. All right, so we're making syrup at the soft thread stage. So we're putting in a cup of sugar. You can use organic, whatever you want, as long as it's white. I'm gonna use filtered water because I can. Howie, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, using filtered water, put it on the stove on high. Okay, and so we already have our chocolate. We have the meringue, we're making your syrup. You can do it in a different order if you like, but this is what makes sense to me, because now the chocolate's ready, it's not hot, the meringue's ready, it's not cold. This is kind of the most delicate part. Woo! So we just kind of let it do its thing. I don't even need to stir it. What I do need to do is I prepare a water glass with just maybe an ice cube in it. I did a little research to find out what temperature that the soft thread is, and that's again between like 230 to 235 degrees Fahrenheit. We don't want to overcook it, because if we do, it's going to screw everything up and everything that we've done will be ruined. Just kidding. The other method I think I mentioned earlier when I was going off the ingredient list was you can use a candy thermometer. And this was given to me by my almost mother-in-law. She's an amazing woman, and I love this candy thermometer. It really does work. And so you have to be careful though, because I believe it is run on mercury, so you don't want to break it, because you will poison everyone and their brother. Nope. But it starts, you'll see, it starts to thicken and like eventually it just coagulates and goes down in one stream. And then that's the soft thread. The thermometer reads 230. I'm gonna stop the cooking process so that we don't go too far. So we're gonna do the little test in the cold water. There it is, you see that stream? That is soft thread. So we're taking the soft thread syrup, see it's kinda doing that thing. Incorporate that into the melted chocolate butter mixture. I think Valentine's Day. It's energy food with caffeine. Lots of it. So folding in just kind of means not beating. It's just a little bit gentle, as not to disturb all the air bubbles in the hard peak meringue. Because if I used a blender right now, it may just flatten. And the whites are what kind of gives it a body. It makes it not just like a chocolate ganache or chocolate mousse. Great Valentine's treat for whoever gets to eat it. That looks about done. So we transfer it to a 9-inch springform pan. I've taken wax paper, I've cut it along the bottom part, put it back in, buttered it so that it's easy release. And then I put aluminum foil around the outside because I don't want any of the water from the water bath to get into the cake. So I just give it a swoop. I don't know if you can see all that chocolatey action. Of course, we're going to be cooking this at 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes. We are going to put our pan, sorry if I'm giving you a cleave shot, but yeah, that's the way it goes, folks. It's Valentine's Day. It's a little something, something. Okay, so our chocolate Flourless cake is in there on a sheet pan. If you have a higher pan, that might be a little bit better. I didn't have one that would accommodate this 9-inch pan. But you want it to be in a water bath, which is usually about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Basically, it's just enough water so that it doesn't burn off during the cooking process. And it keeps the cake nice and moist so that during the process, the heat from the oven doesn't dry out the cake. Onto the sauce. There are a lot of different sauces you can use for a chocolate flourless or chocolate truffle cake. But the sauce I'm going to make is experimental. Instead of just whipped cream, I'm going to add a little sour cream to it. I'm sure there's a name for it. I didn't Google, I didn't do any research. I just want to do it because I'm sure it's going to taste really good. And I'm going to use a bourbon vanilla bean, about half. I'm going to cut it now just because I'm talking about it. You just do it carefully. And you can see there's like all these little seeds inside. See? And that's what gives it the flavor. Okay, so I don't need to make too much because I'm only having 2 guests. But you never know what you're gonna do with it. Okay, so organic whipping cream. We're gonna add a little bit of sugar, but not yet. And then I'm gonna add a little sour cream for a different something something. And then the vanilla bean. Okay, so it's gonna get loud. You know with the egg whites, how it was like a soft cake? The whipped cream gets to that point. From here, it's very quick for it to become like a regular whipping cream, how you would want to eat it. So now is the time you want to add either your regular sugar or your powdered sugar. And I'm adding about a 1/4 cup. Again, I don't want it too sweet. I've already cut the bean in half. I'm just kind of spreading the pod and I'm scraping it. Because all that right there are the little, tiny little seed-like things that make it oh so good. Because you really can't go wrong with real vanilla bean. You could just use regular vanilla flavoring. It's not an issue. I just happen to have these beans. Since it's experimental, and I do this often, when I'm experimenting, I'll do a little bit just to see if I like it first. I'm checking. See how I'm moving it like that? It's moving kind of as one big mass instead of like just a little bit moving in the center and the rest. I think it's done. So you have to be very careful because of this hot water. Bring it up. Gently. So when I pulled it out, I kind of jiggled it a little to make sure it was one big mass, to make sure that it was done, so that there wasn't anything kind of liquid in the middle that hadn't been cooked. So it's been cooked. It's ready to go. It was 35 minutes at 350. We're taking this off the water bath gently, right here. And then I'll take the aluminum. We don't need that. I try to reduce, reuse, recycle when I can, and when it's clean. If it's dirty and it's got some kind of contaminant on it, I won't. But this is just water. It's hot water. This needs to rest and cool because it'll start to shrink back down. It'll pull away from the sides, and we've let this cool, so it's easy to release the spring form. Ooh, okay, I'm not gonna take it away from this metal part. I was going to, but it's not quite ready. And if I do, it will be really ugly. So I'm gonna cut in to our chocolate flourless cake. How big of a piece? Let's see, right here. That looks about right. It is super rich. Chocolate everywhere. Ooh, okay. Well, when it's cold, it doesn't really do that. But it's a little warm yet. But it's gonna taste really good. The sour cream, whipped cream mixture. So we're doing a rustic style. We could do like piped cake bag and do it all nice, or we could drizzle stuff on the plate like that, but we're just gonna do it kind of easy, so that all of you can do this at home and not have to have a lot of equipment. You don't have to have a fancy platter. You do have to have a springform pan for this cake. That is the one main thing, aside from all the yummy ingredients. But there, you know, you can do something really easy, a strawberry fan. I mean, it really is worth the time and the effort. I've never served it warm. You can do the honors.
Oh, that's wicked.
I hope so. I mean, is it chocolate?
Yeah, I'm gonna go now. Oh.
Is it good?
It's good.
You like it? He likes it. Hi, everybody.
Ow.
Hope you enjoyed it. Well, he likes it. Bye, everybody. Hope you really enjoyed it. Again, I'm Monica Bader with Pasadena Film Works.